Okay, so in this question, we're given an equation of a line, x minus 2y equals 4. Is that written in slope-intercept form? No. Okay. Why? How do you know it's not written in slope-intercept form? Yes?
It's x equals and not y.
It says x minus 2y equals. It doesn't say y equals. So if it's written in that form, what should we do so that it's easier for us to figure out the slope and intercept?
Isolate for y.
Isolate for y. Good. So we're going to do that after, because what they're asking us to figure out is if either of these lines, so if A, B, or C, if those lines are going to be parallel or perpendicular to that line. How are we going to know if it's parallel or perpendicular? How do we know if two lines are parallel? Yep.
The two lines will be parallel if the slope is the same.
Good. The two lines will be parallel if the slope is the same. Okay, so we need to know what the slope of the original line is, right? And then we can compare the other three lines and see if they have the same slope. And how do we know if they're perpendicular? What tells us if it's perpendicular? Yep.
If the slopes are negative,
Good. If the slopes are, I'm just going to put short form, negative reciprocals. Okay, so the three lines that they gave us, A, B, and C, is it easy for us to figure out what the slopes of those lines are? Yeah, why? Because what form are they written in? They're all written in the form y equals mx plus b. When it's written in that form, we know that, as you said, the number in front of x, or the coefficient of x, is the slope. Okay, well, we know the slopes of the three lines. Let's figure out the slope of the original line so we can tell if it's going to be parallel or perpendicular. Okay, so our first step is to put this in slope-intercept form. Good, okay, so this is, we want to get rid of the positive x term. When we bring it to the other side, it becomes negative x. So we have negative 2y equals, we have a 4 here, and then we're getting rid of plus x, so we're subtracting x. What number can we put in front of x? If there's no number there, what number can I put? 1. We can put a 1 here. It might make it easier when you're doing this. Okay, is this equation in slope-intercept form? No, because it still says negative 2y. We want it to say y. So how do I isolate for y? Yep. Divide everything by negative 2. Good. So we're dividing every single term by negative 2. So we're actually dividing this by negative 2, and we're dividing this by negative 2. Okay, so this reduces. I'm left with y equals. Can I simplify? What's 4 divided by negative 2?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. And what's negative 1 divided by negative 2? Yep. Positive 0.5, or let's leave it as a fraction, positive 1 over 2x. So now this says y equals negative 2 plus 1 over 2x. Can I rewrite this as y equals 1 over 2x minus 2? Is that the same thing? Yeah, I just rearranged it so that it's in the same form as y equals mx plus b. Now that it's written in this form, do you know the slope? Okay, we know the slope of this line is 1 over 2. Good. And the y-intercept would be negative 2. Okay, we actually don't need that for this question, but it's good to identify. So we know that the slope is positive 1 over 2. So let's go back to our question. This was the line we were given. We just rearranged it so that we can see that the slope is 1 over 2. Now we have to see if A, B, and C, if any of these lines are parallel or perpendicular. So let's look at the first one, A. What is the slope of line A? Tarunya? Negative 2. Okay, let's write that as a fraction. It would be negative 2 over 1. Is that the same as 1 over 2? Is it a negative reciprocal? Yes, so what can we conclude about line A? It's perpendicular. Line A is perpendicular, good. Let's look at line B. What is the slope of line B? What is the slope of the second line? Good. 2 over 4. Let's reduce that. Let's put it in lowest terms. What would that be in lowest terms? 1 over 2. Is that the same as the original? Okay, so that these two lines are parallel. Good. Okay, and then the third one, what is the slope of line C?
4/5.
Slope is 4/5. Is that in lowest terms?
Yes.
Okay, is it this? Does that represent the same thing? Is it equivalent to 1/2?
No.
Is it a negative reciprocal?
No.
No, so we're gonna say that these are neither. It's not parallel, it's not perpendicular, it's neither of the two.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.